Welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video. I'm doing another video response. This one goes over to Ben at T-Rex Spacestation. This is another one of his questions about random games in your collection. 5 different questions about 5 different games. This is the 7th time he's doing this one. And I was almost going to sit this one out because I couldn't think of very many answers to these, and I just thought, I can't really contribute this time around. I don't really have answers for these ones. But then I thought long and hard about it, and I thought, wait a minute, if I'm a little thinking outside the box, if I'm a little askew, I can answer these questions. So, that's what I'm doing, and so this is an askew video response. Let's start off with the first question, and the first hurdle I ran into. His question is, name a game you bought in 2017. I haven't, and it really boggled me. I thought, I have not bought a single game in 2017, even a retro game? Nope. I got a lot of stuff at Christmas time. I've been enjoying stuff that I've had for a while, but I haven't actually bought something in 2017. And at that point I thought, right, well, that's it. I'm not contributing to this round of questions. And then I thought, wait a minute. There was one game I got. Yes, just at the beginning of January, so it totally qualifies. That is Titanfall 2. Now, this is a game that looks incredible. I have it on the PlayStation 4, and mine's like an original PlayStation 4. It's not the Pro or anything. It looks fantastic. And in addition to having great imagery and great multiplayer, compared to the first title, Titanfall 2 has an amazing storyline, like a single-player campaign. Brad Allison, guy in Kalamazoo, is constantly singing the praises of this game, and I really second everything Brad says. This game is fantastic. It is definitely worth checking out. I got it in January because it was part of some flash sale where they actually sold it for 40 bucks. It's worth easily twice that. I mean, if you want to get this game, please don't let the price tag get in your way. Don't wait for it to go back down to $40. It looks great and it plays great, and it's absolutely stellar. And it is the game I got in 2017. That's so far the only one, really. On the subject of fairly recent PlayStation titles, Ben's second question is, name a game where your choices matter. And for that, I went with Heavy Rain on the PlayStation 3. This is a really cool game. It's a kind of a point-and-click adventure, or maybe quick-time event, Dragon's Lair almost type of a game. It's a murder mystery, and it's very, very cool. Really nice graphics. They were kind of showing this is what the PlayStation 3 can do. Really looks great. And a very interesting storyline to it, too. It's very, very dramatic, nicely done. And your consequences really matter in this game. Your character, like, you actually jump from all these different characters. You don't have, like, one main person that you follow all the time. And if you mess up as one of those characters and they die, the story can go on without them. Like, you actually have consequences like that. I was playing it the first time. I was like really panicking, like, if this guy dies, it's the end of the game for him. And it made for an interesting experience. So I played through it once and really enjoyed it, and I was done. My wife wanted to try it out, and she thought, I want to see what all of the different variations are. So she played through this game multiple times, and we got to see all of these different endings with sometimes the characters die. Sometimes the characters aren't friends anymore. It was really, really impressive. So, Heavy Rain, highly recommended. There is a bit of an internet gaming meme called Jason, where the main fella at the beginning of the game, he is looking for his son, and he's shouting out the name, Jason, Jason. And that became something a lot of people made fun of in kind of journalistic, like you see a lot of YouTube videos talking about that. So if you can get past that particular hiccup at the beginning of the game, the rest of the game is really, really good. I highly recommend Heavy Rain. It's a game where your choices have consequences. Ben's third question is, name a game that takes practice. There's a few games that qualify for this, but for me, there's one that's king of the hill. It's a huge game, and it's a game I'm going to be talking a lot about in the future. So for now, I'll just very quickly brush on what I say is my game that takes a lot of practice. The fourth question is, name a game with spaceships in it. Now, unfortunately, this is where I started to run into some problems, because I thought, there are so many games with spaceships in them, I can't possibly narrow down my choices. And I thought, well, I can't do it. I cannot limit all of the games with spaceships. There's just too many of them to choose from. So I thought, well, let's be a little askew here. Let's think outside the box. Let's actually name a game with spaceships in it. How can I make that interesting and not just, pull up random well-known video games that have spaceships? So I actually came up with one, and this is it. This is my Astroshooter pinball machine. I've done a video about this. I'll put a link down below. It's a really, really fun little toy pinball table that has some really nice depth to it. And in addition to depth, it has spaceships in it. You can see there's one there, there's one there, and there's one right there. So this is a game with spaceships in it. Ben's final question was, name a game that reminds you of the past. And that was almost impossible for me to choose. I have so many games, so many retro titles, I couldn't possibly narrow it down to one. I just thought, they all remind me of the past, really. But I thought, okay, wait a minute, let's think outside the box. This will be a little askew. What would be an answer? And I actually came up with one. Now, I'm a big Atari kid. I grew up with the 2600, I loved it, and I recently got this, the Atari Flashback Portable, which is an Atari in your pocket. It's really, really good. I was going to do an unboxing video, but then I noticed when I came to do that, there's not much to unboxing this thing. It basically has the instructions, the power cable still stuck in the wall, and the console itself. So, yeah, there's not much point in doing that. But this is a really cool little device. I will do a video about it in the future. Basically, it's an Atari 2600 you can carry in your pocket. It's got 60 built-in games. You can load your own ROMs onto this SD card and carry around hundreds of games if you like. And it's very similar to the flashbacks that were made a few years ago. One was based on the 5200, and then there have been lots that look like the 2600. Plug them into your TV and you're playing old Atari games. That's the same thing in a portable format. Among those titles that was on the Flashback 2 is, and I hope this comes out on camera, Adventure 2. I don't know if you can make it out there, but that's Adventure 2, which is a sequel to Adventure, which is one of my favorite Atari games of all time. Adventure 2 is my choice for a game that reminds me of the past. It's got the same old dragons that look like ducks. It's got the chalice and the sword and the bridge, but it's got a much larger world, and it's really, really good. And it's a lot of fun. It's a nostalgic trip. I mean, there have been a lot of other games like Adventure that have been recreated over the time, but I really like Adventure 2. I'm not able to play it easily on my modded Flashback 2 because a guy made it so you could put a cartridge in, and he put a little AB switch in there. And because the AB switch doesn't always work, I always leave it in the just play what's on the cartridge mode. I don't go back to the built-in games for the flashback that it originally came with. Now I can play Adventure 2 again because I've got it on this handheld. So, long story short, Adventure 2 is my game that reminds me of the past. It's from just a few years ago. It's a lot of fun, and it really harkens me back to those early days of playing the original Adventure on the original Atari 2600, and I love it. So there's my video response to Ben at T-Rex Spacestation, the 5 random gaming questions. Hope you like that, Ben. Some of my answers are a little out there, they're a little askew, but I thought, yeah, at least I'm providing some kind of answers. And before we go, one final note on being slightly askew. There's a guy who I was subscribed to on YouTube, Swifto. He had some really fun gaming videos and various other things that he did quite a long time ago, and he kind of drifted away. He stopped doing his channel. Apparently he deleted it as well. The reason I know that is because Swifto is back. He's actually created a new channel, and it's called Sane Swifto Cilios. Why has he chosen that for the name? Well, he did a little video where he was making up this sort of fake breakfast cereal thing, and they were called Swifto Cilios, like a Cheerios kind of shape. And it was a fun little video that he made, and he's decided to call his channel Sane Swifto Cilios. I'm going to put a link down below. His stuff is very much askew, out there in left field type of, alright, you're coming up with some zany stuff. It's not all gaming. He says he's just going to do whatever he feels like, a bunch of animation, and He did a very fun unboxing video recently. So, again, link down below. Check out Sane Swifto Cilios because he's back, and I'd like him to get a few more subscribers because he's a really nice guy. And that's it for me. So, I will finish this one off by saying we'll see you down the rabbit hole.